So you just got a new puppy and now you're faced with the huge daunting task of potty training as fast and as best as possible. The good thing is I consider myself a potty training expert, like not even joking. I am so good at potty training dogs. From the 2 dogs I've had, I've learned so many lessons, so I want to share that with you to make sure your dog is potty trained super fast. So first I want to go over some potty training tips, and then I do also have an example schedule you guys can follow, and I'll also go over what to do if they have an accident inside. And also make sure to check out the description. I also have this in a blog form if you want to read over it with the example schedule as well. It'll be linked in the description. So my first potty training tip is frequency. And when I say frequent, like take out your puppy frequently to pee or poop or whatever. Like whenever I talk to people in person, sometimes they think I mean like every 2-3 hours, but I'm literally talking every 30 to 45 minutes on the first few days that your puppy is home. And this can apply to older dogs as well. If you get an older dog that's not potty trained, it's the same concept. So this is obviously easier said than done because some people get a puppy and they can't be home all the time for the first few days. Like, I don't know. I personally think if you're getting a new puppy, you should definitely time it so that you can be home 24/7 for the first few days with them, because it just makes things so much easier in the long run. But I get if it's not possible, so definitely like take this with a grain of salt if you're not home 24/7 or if someone's not home 24/7. But ideally, someone should be taking your puppy outside every 30 to 45 minutes to just do their business. Also, if you're deciding to potty train with like potty mats indoors first, that's also different. Obviously, you don't have to take them outside. I personally don't prefer that because in my opinion that delays the process of potty training, but again, up to you. So what you're gonna wanna do is every 30 to 45 minutes, take them out to the same spot. Ideally, you have a yard or a patch of grass, even if you live in an apartment. So I live in an apartment, but I have a great courtyard that we used to take Mochi out to every 30 minutes when he first came. And you're gonna take them to the first little patch of grass, ideally. Again, if you only have concrete, that's not ideal for a dog in any condition, but hopefully you could find even like the tiniest patch of grass. I'm from New York City and even I could find a patch of grass where I'm from. So you're gonna find a little patch of grass and you're gonna let them have 5 to 10 minutes to just sniff and do their thing. If they don't go, that's totally fine. Just go back inside and go back out in another 30-ish minutes. It does definitely seem excessive when I'm saying it like this, but just remember that like every opportunity you give them to go to the bathroom outside is every opportunity you have to reinforce that behavior with positive reinforcement. By giving your puppy a chance so frequently, first of all, you're decreasing the chances of them having an accident, which are technically setbacks. I'll go over that in a bit. But also your puppy just has so much more opportunity to do the good thing, for you to be able to praise them and tell them, hey, that's what I want from you. With my dog, with Mochi, we did every 30 minutes for the first, I think 3 days. And we were able to extend to like every hour on like day 4 already because Mochi, I sound like a stupid parent, but he's genuinely like incredible. Like he learned potty training in like the first week or something. So not every dog will be the same pace, but I'm just saying like by going so frequently at the beginning, I was able to wane off faster because he was able to practice the good behavior more. Second tip, I already kind of went over this, but always have a designated spot. Not only does this make it easier for your dog to understand the desired behavior because they can associate one spot with the act of peeing or pooping, it also takes the advantage of peeing on a spot that smells like another dog's pee or their own pee. By having your dog pee over the same spot, or again poop over the same spot every time, the smell will help your puppy associate that spot with going to the bathroom. Of course, the more they get the hang of it, you don't have to go to the same spot every day. You can go to just any grass, but like definitely at the beginning, it's super important to have the same spot. Also because dogs are incredibly contextual creatures. Like there's even stories of dogs that know how to do certain tricks only in the living room, but as soon as you take them to, I don't know, the kitchen, they can't do it anymore because they're so contextual. So you really want to take advantage of that with potty training and go to the same spot every single time, and that way you're taking advantage of like their instincts, their learning, the smells, everything. My third tip is to reward. Equally importantly as the frequency is to reward. Dogs are animals that learn primarily through positive reinforcement, which I talk about all the time. So you want to make it very clear to your puppy that when they do their business outside, that they are doing the right thing by giving them loads of praise and even treats. All you have to do is whenever they pee or poop outside, you immediately want to mark the behavior. Marking the behavior just means to capture the behavior. So either through a verbal sign or a clicker, like a noise, a clicker. In terms of bathroom, again, I wouldn't use a clicker. This isn't like a a trick that they're learning. So I think verbal reward is totally fine. So once they're done peeing or pooping, say something like yes or good boy in like a high-pitched friendly voice, and then give them tons of praise, like cuddle them if they like that, clap for them, like literally pull out all the works or pull out all the stops. I don't know what the saying is. But anyways, you want to show them that the actual action of peeing or pooping is what's giving them the reward, and they're doing it outside. Also, one really quick important tip here is to make sure that they're done peeing or pooping before you pull out the drama and give them all the praise, because I have noticed, and I made this mistake with Mochi, like when he was super, like first or second day he was here and he was peeing outside, I was like yay, but he wasn't done peeing, so then he stopped peeing to like come over to me because he was so excited, and then he peed inside 2 seconds later, and that was totally my fault. So learn from me and wait till they're done until you praise them. And again, like never a bad idea to give them treats, so once they're done and you're praising them, give them a treat or two, and then further enforces that that's good. Another tip I have is to associate peeing or pooping with a verbal command. This tip is not super essential like the above ones, but it's like a nice to do just for your dog to be able to associate the behavior. I actually think it's very important to do at the youngest of ages of your puppy, like the first few weeks, just because when you do take them out so frequently, you want to give them kind of a clue of what they're supposed to do. So what you want to do is every time your dog pees, say, I always say pee pee. You could say whatever you want. Every time they pee, you could say pee. Every time they poo, you could say poop. Like whatever you want, but just associate like a verbal command with it. And that way, after a few times when you take them outside, tell them like Mochi, go pee pee. Then he kind of knows what he's supposed to do. Even if he doesn't have to pee in that moment, he at least knows what he's supposed to do. Once you do this with enough times, with the combination of the verbal praise afterwards, most dogs will get the hang of like what you're trying to ask them to do. The reason this isn't uber necessary, again, is because this isn't a trick. So like if your dog doesn't have to go at all, he won't go. And if your dog does have to go, he will go no matter what. But I would say it's uber necessary if in the rare occasion you're training like a therapy dog or a police dog. I know this is super important for them, but for the majority of dog owners, it's not super necessary. But again, it's like a nice to do. Why not do it? It's just saying something while they're doing it anyway. And my last tip is actually very important, and it's the use of crate training. So this one's definitely a game changer, and it's to use your crate or to do crate training during nap times or overnight sleep during the potty training phase. So dogs are very clean animals in their sleeping space, and 99% of the time your dog will not pee where they associate with like rest and sleeping, or poop for that matter, unless they're like bursting with the need to pee or poop, which obviously they shouldn't be considering the frequency tip, but like unless they're bursting, they're probably not going to pee or poop in their crate, because they will see that as their safe space, their little cave that they go to sleep, rest, blah, blah, blah. So to correctly use the crate for potty training, you're going to want to put your dog or puppy in their crate for nap times. And by the way, puppies sleep a lot, so you're going to want to put them in for nap times quite often. Then once they wake up from their nap, whether it's 45 minutes or an hour or 30 minutes, as soon as they wake up, you want to take them outside. Right after they wake up from sleeping is when they usually have to pee anyway, so it's like perfect way to induce them to pee outside and be able to reward that. And it's also a perfect way to prevent it from happening indoors by putting them in their crate. So again, like I have a potty training example schedule coming up in a few seconds, and there it'll probably make more sense with the crate training. But yeah, the most important thing here though is also to remember crate training is not a punishment. It's a very positive thing actually. I think all dogs should be potty trained or crate trained at the beginning at least, because it just makes things so much easier and also gives them a very nice little safe space to retreat to whenever they want to. So just make sure you always associate the crate as like being a positive space, not a punishment. Yes, and also like important to note, like I prefer during the potty training phases to keep your puppy in the crate overnight as well. And again, they don't sleep that long. Like Mochi used to wake up at like 5 a.m. or I used to wake up at 5 a.m. to take him out to pee, even if he wasn't necessarily awake yet, just because puppies have to pee, they can't hold it that long. But yeah, I prefer during the puppy potty training phase to just make your puppy sleep in a closed crate, at least for the first few weeks. Like Mochi slept in a crate for the first few weeks, then we let him sleep on the bed with us as soon as he was potty trained. So now I do have an example potty training schedule for the first week with a puppy. This is just for the first week. Again, you could change this a little bit, but this is just like a great place to start if you have no clue, especially. Okay. So I said 6 a.m. You could wake up, take the puppy out of their crate where they were sleeping overnight, go potty outside. Then at 6:15, you could come back and you can even go back to sleep as the person, you know, like they're good now. But then again, at 7 a.m., you're going to want to take the puppy out for potty time. Then at 7:45, you're going to want to do it again, 8:15 again. And then at 8:30, you can have a crated nap time. So you put your puppy into the crate and let them settle in for a nap. At the beginning of crate training, your puppy probably won't like that. They'll probably cry, want to get out. Crate training will be a separate video. I'll definitely hit on that. But yeah, just like for the idea of it, you want to put them down for a nap during 8:30. Then like an hour later, when they wake up, immediately take them outside to go potty. Then again at 10:15, 10:45, 11:15, 12, 12:30, 1:15. All those times you want to take them out for potty. Then at 1:30, you want to have another crated nap time. Then again, every 30 minutes for the rest of the day. And then you ideally don't want to go to sleep too early because again, your dog cannot hold their pee that long as a young puppy. So you want to go to sleep as late as possible so you can take them out right before bed and then wake up very early as well. It's kind of like having a baby, right? I don't have a baby, but I assume. So this schedule is definitely intense. Like I'm not saying it's not intense, but just keep in mind it only has to be intense for like a few days, few weeks max. If you put in the more work and the more frequency at the beginning, you get your chill days kind of earlier. Plus, notice how in my example schedule, I differed the intervals of going potty from like 30 to 45 to 60-minute intervals. And that's because it's not super strict. I just want to really emphasize the idea of like how frequently you have to be taking your puppy outside, because I think a lot of people underestimate it. And yeah, this is also another reason why, like, I know some corporate jobs, for example, offer like puppy leave, which is so cute. And I know this is like super rare, but even if you have to take PTO, I do recommend like trying to have at least like 3 or 4 days 24/7 home with your puppy, or at least having someone there, so that you can do this potty training schedule. And also like worst case, if you can afford it, get a dog sitter to do this for you. I do think it's very important to prioritize this at the beginning. Okay, so finally, what do you do if your puppy does have an accident inside? And this is very, very important. I definitely want to go over this. Okay, so what do you do when actually your puppy has an accident inside? Because it's not an if, it's a when. And the number one rule, the golden rule, is to do not punish your puppy for peeing or pooping inside. So the worst thing you could do when your puppy pees or poops inside is to punish them, yell at them. I knew someone when I was younger who used to dunk their dog's head underwater when, like, not drowning, but like under the sink, under cold water, just because they peed inside. And that's so stupid. Do not do that. And the reason why is because punishing your puppy or even older dog for having an accident inside will only damage your relationship with them, which will hurt all areas of your life together. Like dog training will become harder, listening will become worse, because you're damaging that trust between you guys. So do not punish them. But secondly, punishing doesn't even work because this is not your dog acting out or anything. Actually, dogs don't act out of malicious or anything like that, or malice, whatever the word is. So never punish your dog for anything. That's like that's another topic I'll get into in another video, because it's a little bit more nuanced than that. But especially with potty training, like, please do not punish your dog. That's not gonna work. It's just gonna hurt. And also, like I said earlier, dogs, especially puppies, learn from primarily positive reinforcement only. So when your dog pees or poops outside, of course, praise them, positive reinforcement all the way. But if they do something bad, quote unquote, like peeing or pooping inside, just ignore it. This is not a time where you have to give them attention for it. So what do? Ignore the fact that they just did it. Of course, if your dog is like peeing a lot and you're right next to like the door that goes outside, you could pick them up and put them outside to finish their pee. But like most of the time that's unrealistic, especially if you live in an apartment like me. So just ignore the fact that they did it. Clean it up very well. You're gonna want to use soap and whatever to clean the floor so it doesn't smell like pee or poop. That way your dog won't sniff it and do it again. So you're just gonna want to clean it very well. But yeah, in terms of like acknowledging the behavior, do not acknowledge it. Literally ignore them. Like even if they come up to you when you're cleaning, you don't have to positively reinforce them, obviously, because it's not ideal behavior, but just don't say anything mean or anything. Just ignore them, clean the spot and go about your day. Accidents are gonna happen, definitely more than once, definitely more than 3 or 4 or 5 times, but they're gonna happen. We know that, but the way you react is really what's important for the progress of potty training. Your puppy will be potty trained before you even know it. Trust me, even if you don't follow this strict schedule I set up, it might go a little bit slower, but every dog can be potty trained. So just be patient, go through it, don't punish, always be positive, and you'll be through it before you know it, and you'll be gone to chill days when your dog doesn't pee or poop inside anymore. Let me know down in the comments how many days or weeks it took for your puppy to be potty trained, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.